That's how to make the cove molding. Now I'm going to show you one more operation when we made the diamond-shaped back on the shadow box. The diamond is actually a fairly hard shape to set up and cut, especially this diamond, because it wasn't any simple 45 degrees. There were 60s, there were 90s, and it was a fairly large piece, so we couldn't handle it in the miter gauge. Blah 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 blah. It was tough, but we came up with a neat little jig here. This coated with cherry sawdust. Okay. This is an overhead fence, and I call that an overhead fence because it sits over the saw, as you can see from the illustration that I put on the blackboard. There are three parts to this. First of all, there's the mount, which just clamps to the fence with a couple of T-nuts. Then there's a vertical piece here, which holds the true fence itself, which is just a piece of 1/4-inch acrylic. This can be adjusted up and down by simply turning these 1/4-inch screws and moving it like so. Now, the first thing that we need to do in order to set up and use the overhead fence is to get the piece that we're going to cut. This is, or will be, the diamond-shaped piece that you see right here. I have marked out the diamond on the back in pencil. Let me see if I can, let's see if I can move that to where you can see the pencil lines. There we go. I think you can see some of them now. I have simply drawn the diamond shape there, and then I have gone to the bandsaw and I've made some very wide cuts to remove most of the stock near these lines. You'll see why in a minute. Let me put the this piece that I'm going to cut on the saw and adjust the depth of cut so that the saw blade is just barely protruding above the stock. Okay, that's that. Now let's put the overhead fence on, clamp it in place temporarily. We'll just clamp the back and loosen the wing nuts and bring down the overhead fence until it touches the saw blade, and then raise it about 1/16 of an inch. Clamp it in place. Turn this and make sure that the teeth are not contacting the acrylic. They are not. Now I'm going to move this sideways. It's close enough that I can see this fairly easily. Move this sideways. There we go. Until the edge of the acrylic is dead even with the outside surface, that is the surface away from the fence of the saw tooth. Now this is, I'm checking this with a square, and it looks about right. At least it's, let me see if I can see any daylight there. No, looks pretty good. This is fairly easy to do if you have a carbide tipped blade, because all you do is you move the fence until you finally get the acrylic even with the side of the tooth. If you have a steel blade, it's somewhat different. You have to have it even with the set of the tooth. Same principle, but it takes a little bit more futzing around. Okay, let's. This is set. Everything is locked down. Since I have changed this around, I'm going to go through and check everything that I may have moved. Okay, table tilt lock is okay. Carriage lock was loose, but now it's tight. Height is tight, and quill lock was loose, but now it's tight, and the headstock lock is tight. Okay, everything is tightened down. Now I'm going to take a piece of wood over here, and I have applied a piece of carpet tape to this wood. Let me peel off the backing from the carpet tape. One edge of this wood has been jointed perfectly straight, and that's the side right there. And I'm going to apply this piece of wood to the back that we're cutting so that the jointed edge is dead even with the pencil line. Okay, and press it down. Now I'm going to take, let's see, one of those clamps. Let me get back to that clamp. And very quickly here, I'm going to clamp this down and apply a little pressure. Now there's a reason for that. The tape, the carpet tape, is a PSA tape. It stands for pressure sensitive adhesive. And when you apply a little pressure, it activates the adhesive and makes it stick a little bit better. Now you can also do this with a mallet. There are times when I will take and just sharply rack this with a mallet, and that momentary pressure is enough to activate the adhesive and get a good bond. I found over the years this is also a good system. In fact, in some ways, a little bit better system. Now, I'm going to make this cut with the edge of this wooden guide up against the edge of the acrylic overhead fence. Watch this. Is that cool or is that cool? Okay, those two edges are almost, I can feel a little tiny step there, but not much. If I wanted to, I could probably adjust the position of the overhead fence and get that step out immediately. But even as it is right now, okay. Got that pressure. Fortunately, I know all about leverage. There we go. You can see that I split the line when I made that cut. Now, I would make the other cuts exactly the same way. I left this corner. I didn't cut this off on the bandsaw because I wanted you to see why. If I were to stick this down, and I'll just sort of stick it down a little bit, not much, and try to put this under, as you can see, it won't fit. You have to remove most of the stock, and you have to get reasonably close to the line. As you can see, I removed all but about 1 inch wide. If I left that stock 3 inches wide, it could be pinched between the blade and the fence, and ping, it would kick back at me. That's something we don't need. This is a wonderfully versatile way to cut odd shapes. Here's a shape that you probably drop the screwdriver. Surprise, surprise. You probably remember this shape from your shop class. This, of course, is the front of a birdhouse. We haven't yet cut a hole for the bird because we haven't had it coated and inspected yet. But as you can see, this has 5 sides, and to set this up on the table saw would take some doing. Instead, what you can do is you can use this method and make one of these, and then stick this down to other pieces of wood and shove it through, and use this one piece as the master to make all the others. Cool little tip. It saves a lot of time and even more grief.